They're making huge changes to character progression. Which, you know, is a good thing because Diablo 3 is pretty boring. Diablo 3 gets stale after like an hour.
No matter what RPG you're playing, progression is king. And when it comes to Diablo 4, the team is trying out a few new things to push players forward. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're breaking down important progression systems within Diablo 4.
Okay, because let's talk about Diablo 3. Because Diablo 3, what do you have? You have gear, and then you have Paragon level. And I really don't like Paragon level because it's just so broken. And it's really, your character gets powerful just because you play the game a lot. Like, that doesn't feel good. Like, I don't like playing DPS characters in Diablo 3 because I can't do the higher rifts with people. I like to play with 4 people. I like to do like just random group finder like Diablo 3, and I can never really get into the high keys. People won't invite me to the high keys when I play DPS because my Paragon level is low, because I don't play 8 hours a day, because I'm not 2000 Paragon level. So my damage compared to a different person, same class, same gear pretty much, who has 1000 Paragon level on me, is going to be doing a lot more damage. It's going to be a lot tankier. That's why I play Z DPS builds. I play support builds because I can do greater of 130, 140 with just my gear because I'm tanky as hell. I don't need 2000 Paragon. Obviously, I would love to play damage. That's what I like to play most, but I just feel like I can't because I don't want to play Diablo 3 for 8 hours a day. That sounds like what probably people are doing in China that are disappearing. They're probably torturing them by, hey, who's the president? Jinping is like, yo, I'm trying to play Diablo 3, but I want to play endgame without having to grind. I have all these prisoners just playing Diablo 3 accounts, getting me gear. All of these players.
Video
that sounds
games
awful. I don't know how people play. I don't know how people play Diablo 3 like all day. It's just like good for them, but that'd be torture for me.
About the hunt. It's not a question of destination or journey. It's a matter of understanding that the journey is quite literally what developers design their games around. The team behind Diablo 4 clearly understands this basic concept, as there are a
God damn, Diablo 2 music is so good. The music is so good. I hope the music in Diablo 4 is good.
number of new and refreshed systems in their upcoming game that will keep players constantly hunting for ways to push their power level forward. I'll admit, trying to wrap your head around all of these systems for the first time can be a bit of a bear, so let's
okay, so I guess there's a lot of systems, which concerning.
take it slow and tackle one thing at a time. Keep in mind, some of the specific stats and numbers we talk about might change come launch.
Oh, wait, they Renown?
Let's start with Renown, an account-wide progression system that not only impacts the character you're currently playing on, but benefits your entire roster of heroes.
No, why? This is like Paragon level. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. That means just like no lifers are just gonna be so much stronger. I mean, it's not a competitive game in that regard, right? But I just feel like if you want to do, like I said, finding your group, it's like Mythic Plus. Except Mythic Plus, it takes like some skill to get, and eventually, over time, you get gear from the vault and everything. Whereas, imagine you just get gear and power and WoW just from playing all day. Like, that's how it's going to be. In order to do like high keys, you have to play WoW for 8 hours a day because someone else does, and as a result, their characters are so much more powerful than yours. I don't like this at all. I don't like Paragon level. I think it's stupid. And Diablo 4...
This system is designed with alts in mind and provides a direct way for...
Like, if you start a new character, it should be fresh, right? Like, I like WoW, because, like, well, especially Dragonflight, a lot of the stuff is account bound, which makes sense. It's an MMO. In an action RPG, it does not make sense. I think you should start from 0. That's the way you feel the progression, right? Like, in Path of Exile, dude, when you start a new character, it feels awful, right? You're very slow. You're very weak, and then once you get those like gem links and you get some decent like gear, you start to feel your progression. You get like more talents, you get more levels. I don't like Paragon level.
Players with ambitions to play multiple characters, a way to make that process a bit easier. Renown is a zone-wide reputation system. Each of the major zones have 5 levels of renown, and by completing different activities, a player can unlock specific account-wide rewards. Discovering areas within a zone rewards 2 renown, finding an altar of Lilith rewards 5 renown, unlocking a waypoint rewards 10 renown, completing side quests rewards 15 renown, Completing dungeons rewards 20 renown, and liberating a stronghold rewards 50 renown.
So actually, this doesn't seem like Paragon level. I hope it's not.
Each time you reach a new renown milestone, you'll receive 2 rewards. At each renown level, you'll be able to claim bonus XP and 10,000 gold per character. You'll also receive that account-wide reward without needing to claim anything. Level 1 requires 80 renown and rewards 1 skill point. Level 2 requires 180 renown.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Because then when you get if you have all the renown and you get your first character made, does that mean you're gonna have like 50 skill points just ready to go?
Renown and rewards 1 potion charge. Level 3 requires 300 renown and rewards 1 skill point. Level 4 requires 500 renown and rewards 1 skill point. And finally, level 5 requires 800 renown and rewards 4 Paragon points.
There's Paragon. Oh, great. Oh my god. Diablo 4 looks like shit. I'm so disappointed, man. I don't know if I'm gonna play this game that much.
The next aspect of progression worth talking about is tied to one of Diablo's most important systems, loot. This is called the Codex of Power, and while we briefly touched on it in our recent video talking about Diablo 4's various selling points to players, it's worth going deeper. The Codex is essentially a collection of most of the legendary aspects in the game. Legendary aspects are special powers that can be imbued on items to greatly influence how a player and their playstyle function in combat.
Okay.
To unlock each aspect, a player must first complete a specific dungeon for the first time. According to the developers, there are nearly 150 dungeons in the game, so putting 2 and 2 together, yeah, there's a lot of aspects to
That's actually good news. So is a dungeon like a map in Path of Exile? Like, is this gonna be like the end game? Like, instead of rips, we just have like these cool dungeons we go to or something? That sounds good.
Aspects fall into a few different categories, and while some are generic and can be applied to any class, there are also class-specific aspects that are tailor-made to enhance the performance of certain class abilities. Aspect categories break down into defensive, offensive, resource, utility, and mobility. The real beauty of this system is its flexibility. Say you find a rare weapon out in the world. The stats are perfect, but
that's so aiming. Okay.
But you want to enhance it with a specific legendary aspect. You can take that to a vendor called the Occultist.
Oh, hold up here.
Vendor called
the Occultist. Okay, so you have your UI here, your gear and everything, and then this is the vendor. So you put your item in there, and then you just put your Codex of Power, and I'm guessing it costs gold.
The Occultist, enhance it with an aspect, thus transforming that item into a brand new legendary tailor-made for your playstyle.
Okay.
Likewise, you can take an existing legendary weapon and swap out the unique aspect, replacing it with another aspect of your choosing.
Okay.
Keep in mind there are 2 types of aspects. Codec aspects, which can be applied indefinitely to items, and extracted aspects, which are ripped from pieces of gear and are consumed after use.
Okay, that's cool.
It's
I'm down with this.
also important to note that the process of doing all of this is called imbuing and can only be done once per item.
Yeah, it's kind of like the cube, right? You put the legendary in the cube, you extract the legendary power, and then you can have it as a passive, right? You can have like the 3 passives or whatever from the pieces of gear. So it's kind of like the cube.
Now there is a catch. This system is incredibly powerful, but without some limitations, it would eventually completely negate the magic of searching for that perfect piece of loot. The 2 restrictions are individual effects from a legendary aspect will always have the lowest possible rolls.
Oh, that sucks. Wow, okay.
And not all legendary aspects are available through the Codex of Power. With all that in mind, I think it's worth looking at a few examples of aspects you can unlock with the Codex of Power system. Rapid aspect is a general aspect that increases the attack speed of your basic skills by 23%.
That's broken, wow.
Aspect of Might, another general aspect, gives your basic skills 25% damage reduction for 4 seconds. Now, those might seem a little bland, and I'd agree, which is why you'll also want to hunt down the class-specific aspects like Brawler's aspect, a barbarian aspect that explodes enemies if they're killed within 2 seconds of being damaged by a kick or charge, dealing damage to enemies nearby. Or Unyielding Command, a necromancer aspect that grants your minions plus 70% attack.
I feel like Diablo 4 is just, I hope it's not as bad as Diablo 3. But I think from these, I think the power level, the power creep is just going to be crazy. like 70% attack speed and 90% damage reduction. Those values are so high. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to, like, the numbers in Diablo 3 are crazy. You look at someone doing like high-end rips in Diablo 3, they're doing like 100 trillion damage per hit. They have like 5 million toughness or 200 million toughness. It's just crazy. It just, the values are too big. I really wish Diablo 4 would just copy PoE. Copy Path of Exile. You take little small increments in power level, and then you can feel yourself getting stronger. The progression's so good in Diablo in Path of Exile. It's really so good.
Attack speed and 90% damage reduction while Army of the Dead is active.
That's just broken.
If it wasn't clear before, hopefully it is now. The Codex of Power is a central pillar of progression in the game, but it's merely a piece of the overall build crafting within Diablo 4. If we change gears a bit,
I haven't looked at the skill tree at all. I hope the skill tree is pretty sweet.
There are 2 additional progression systems we need to break down. The first being skill trees.
Okay.
It's no secret that ARPGs are built on outfitting your hero with a wide array of skills that are then augmented, usually via a skill tree. In Diablo 4, this system has gone through a number of iterations since development started, but the team has seemingly landed on a traditional hub and spoke model. As players level up and also gain renown, they'll earn skill points and have the ability to place those points.
Okay. So skewer enemies in front of you, dealing damage, rip your weapon out, damage enemies for the total bleeding amount, and remove all bleeding damage from them. And then there's a modifier. Okay.
In their specific class tree. Players will gain a skill point up until level 50, at which point the Paragon System opens up. Add on to that the 15 skill points players can obtain by leveling up renown in each of the 5 major zones, and you're looking at a total of around 64 skill points.
So is there a cap to how many skill points you can get from the Paragon system? So he says the cap is 64.
Keep in mind, this is all subject to change based on how the team awards points. The tree itself is rather easy to understand once you get a hold of a few basic tenets. The larger squares are your
I actually kind of like this. This is kind of like PoE. It's just like a big skill tree. I like this.
Skills. By allocating a point in a skill, you're not only unlocking the ability, but also can further upgrade it by allocating additional points. Off of each skill is a series of smaller nodes, and these are direct improvements to the skill they're attached to.
Oh wait, this is different then. So you get skills from your talent tree, and then these smaller skills just upgrade that skill. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. I'd have to try it out. I feel like basically you're gonna have to be putting a lot of your points in the skills instead of just getting them passively. So I don't know how it'll feel to like max out a skill tree.
You'll notice that the smaller nodes branch into 2 paths. Players will have to choose which side of the upgrade path they want to go down, as they'll not be able to allocate points into every skill minor upgrade. Hopefully this means making those decisions, and the upgrades in turn will provide substantial changes to the functionality of an ability, which should make build crafting a bit more unique.
Yeah, I feel like hopefully it's like good. It could kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it could be maybe like with WoW right now. Like there are some classes in WoW where their skill tree isn't designed that well, and as a result, their power level isn't that great, right? It look like Elemental Shaman. You know, they were in a rough place for a while. They're getting buffed, but even still, like, I feel like it's gonna be hard to balance this, but we'll see. Does Diablo 4 have Crusader? They have Barbarian. They don't have Crusader, I don't think.
According to the developers, the skill tree will only be filled out about 30 to 40% by the time you have access to all of your skill points.
Okay.
To me, this is fantastic as it solves for one of the biggest issues in ARPGs, build diversity. And since Diablo 4 is putting so much stock in player progression via skills and the Paragon system,
I mean, I don't know if the game will have that much build diversity. I think there's gonna be a meta, right? There's always a meta, even with like PoE. There's always like set builds. But I think the nice thing with PoE is there are a lot of builds that are powerful that you can do like most of the content with the game. And obviously PoE, like they changed the meta, right? So like a lot of times there's like, oh, there's like a minion build that's really strong, or there's a totem build that's really strong, and you can kind of go in and pick what you like. You know, and I hope Diablo 3 has that. And our Diablo 4 has that. And I kind of think it will, because like Diablo 3 is like that too. Like There's usually 1 or 2 tier sets, like set pieces, that are good for each class. Like Demon Hunter, for example, the God Demon Hunter set is really strong, and then the multi-shot tier piece is really strong. There's also other ones that kind of they get balanced out. So maybe the other ones, like the Sentry build, might not be that strong right now. So if they make regular changes throughout the game, I think we could see a lot of build diversity.
That means players will have more direct control over their playstyle, and it won't be completely dictated by items. It's worth pointing out that players can respec at any time, either by taking individual nodes or refunding all points and starting over.
That's good.
There is a cost associated with changing around your skill tree, and according to one developer, at some point it'll be easier to re-level a character than continue to respec them.
Why? It becomes higher and higher. I don't know how I like that. Wow, that's bad. That's what the in-game currency cost to respec becomes higher and higher. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you'll have a level 90 barbarian, and instead of completely changing my build, it's better to just roll a new barbarian and start over? Why? That's gotta feel awful. Like, I should be able to play what I want when I want. Like, I want to switch builds. Like, let me switch my build. Maybe today I want to play something else. Then tomorrow I want to play a different build. Why would I have to eventually just not be able to do that? Because it costs so much gold. That is a bad change. You're making people level a new character from the start, which is probably not going to be fun. Let's be honest. Leveling in Diablo 3 is not the funnest thing. Just so they can play what they want. That means you have to have if you want to play 3 different specs, eventually you're going to have 3 different barbarians. This is really bad. I don't like this. Like, if anything, they could do it how it is in the classic WoW, where like, okay, you know, the first time you respec, it's 1 gold. Then if you want to respec, it's 5 gold. Then it's 25 gold. Then it's 50 gold. And 50 gold is a lot. But there's a cap to it. That shouldn't scale infinitely. Maybe the cap could be, I don't know how much the values of gold are going to be, but maybe like 1 million gold or something. Because this seems like a really, this just is punishing the player for wanting to try different things. And that's just bad game design.
That's a bit concerning, but could just be an embellishment for dramatic effect. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's stupid.
Finally, there is the Paragon System, and this system further allows for that.
Oh, it didn't work. Hold on, let me open Streamlabs. I don't know, it works like most times, and it doesn't. Sid says, Blizz cucking their own game before it is even out. Dude, are you surprised? Oh, that's why I'm not logged in. I feel like Streamlabs always logs me out. But yeah, it's crazy. It is actually crazy. I don't get it. But I'm not surprised.
That sense of individual experimentation when it comes to build crafting. If the skill tree was the foundation, the Paragon system is everything else, providing you with a primary way to keep furthering your power level. You won't be unlocking additional abilities with this system, rather amplifying the build you created with the skill tree. And
yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. It looks cool, but I don't like Paragon levels.
Pushing it to its furthest possible limit. Once you reach level 50, the first Paragon board opens up. From level 50 onward, you'll receive 1 Paragon point every 1/4 level, totaling 4 points per level. Starting at the center of the board, working outwards, you'll be able to place 1 point on the board so long as the tiles you're allocating points into are connected to that central tile. There are 4 types of tiles on a Paragon board. Common tiles give you a passive stat boost. Magic tiles provide a slightly better, more diverse bonus.
Max has heard from people that they don't like endgame already, so I don't know what to think, to be honest. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I don't know. I'm really skeptical. I'm gonna try the beta. I think regardless, it's gonna be fun. Like Diablo 3 was really fun when it came out, but I just don't know if it's gonna be good. Like new games are fun at the start. Like Diablo 3 was really fun at the start. Diablo 3 is still fun for a little bit each season, but it gets old fast. I think really the end game is important. But I don't like a lot of this stuff I'm seeing right now. I don't like Paragon levels.
Rare tiles are really transformative, influencing your build in a substantial way. These will always have some sort of stat prerequisite before becoming active. And then there are legendary tiles. There is 1 per board, and they're always located.
It's just the tuning, man. The tuning is crazy. Look at this. While your fury is above 50%, you deal 30% more damage. So imagine, like, the values are just too high. They're just way too high. They like overlap each other. You know? Once you get like 10 of these, your character's just doing trillions of damage.
The center of the board. As you might expect, these offer the best bonuses. As you fill out your Paragon board, you can expand towards the edge and a special gate tile. These gates will allow you to expand onto a new board, and this is the secret to accessing legendary tiles. Before placing
wait,
wait. Will allow you might expect these offer the best bonuses.
Wait a second.
As you fill out your Paragon board, you can expand towards the edge and a special gate tile. These gates will allow you to expand onto a new board, and this is the secret to accessing legendary tiles. Before placing that new board, you will have the opportunity to preview and rotate the new board for better optimization.
What the fuck is this? Are we playing Monopoly with our Paragon points? What the fuck? This looks so stupid.
We know that the max level in Diablo 4 is 100. If we do some quick math, level 50 to 100 will net players 200 Paragon points. Plus, you'll receive an additional 20 by capping Renown in each of the 5 major zones, giving you a total of 220 Paragon points.
When is Path of Exile 2 coming out? When's PoE 2 coming out? Is that, please?
There's one more thing to consider, and that's how glyphs factor into the equation. Glyphs are found throughout Sanctuary and come in different varieties. When socketed into their special tiles, they look at the surrounding tiles and provide different bonuses based on how many of those tiles you have points allocated.
Okay, yeah, PoE does this.
Into. For example, this rare exploit glyph
PoE does this.
Here
I like
has
these.
A medium radius size, grants 40.5% bonus to all nodes within range, and grants a unique buff. For every 10 dexterity purchased within the radius, you deal 13.5 increased damage to vulnerable.
What the fuck? Like, okay, it's gonna be like Diablo 3. Okay, it's just gonna be like Diablo 3. You're gonna be doing trillions of damage when you're maxed out. Because imagine all these systems, right? They just multiply off each other, and it's like 70% more damage on this ability, and then you get 13% increased damage per 10 dexterity. So that's, if you have 50 dexterity, that's fucking, I don't know, 200% more damage to vulnerable targets. Then you have your gear, which has these legendary effects, which is like you do 100% more damage. So by the end of a top end Paragon character, you're doing thousands of percentage of more damage.
Targets. So as you can see, it's not just about the tiles, it's about glyphs as well, and you can dramatically impact a character's power if you're strategic about what glyph you use and how to activate them.
Yeah, it's just going to be builds. There's no strategy involved. You're just going to copy and paste builds
on your Paragon board. If you can wrap your head around these aspects of Diablo,
there's no wrapping your head around it. It's pretty fucking simple. Let's be honest. It's not innovative, it's not crazy, it's not new. It's the same shit as Diablo 3. The same shit. There's like nothing complicated about it. And that's what I don't like. And no, I think Path of Exile is way too complicated, especially for new players. I've been playing PoE for like a decade. I almost have 1,000 hours on PoE. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. I've killed a jailer 2 times, and that was when Spark Totems. What was it? I think it was Arc Totems was OP. I killed the jailer then, and then I killed the jailer. Or not the jailer. I killed the Shaper with Arc Totems and Cyclone when they did the big Cyclone change, the big melee change. That's it. That's about as far as I go per league. And I've only done it twice. You know, my max character was probably like level 92 or 93. And I'm very confused about. I've never really done any of the bosses, to be honest with you. It's very complicated. I don't make a lot of chaos. I probably make a few exalts per league. I'm not good at trading. I don't really know how to craft. It's very complicated. I really wish Diablo 4 would be a little bit more complicated than Diablo 3. Because Diablo 3 is just like, there's no sustenance to it. There's no complicated things. And I'm okay with the complexity, but I think Path of Exile has been out for so long. There's all these different mechanics from all these different seasons that stay in the game, and then they just like overlap each other, and it becomes really kind of hard to wrap your head around it. Whereas Diablo 3, there's really nothing that's complicated. Here's a skill point. Go to this website, pick these skills, pick these runes, get this gear, spend the Paragon points like this, and here you go. You're doing 10 trillion damage per hit now. Congratulations.
Diablo 4's progression, then you'll be in great shape come launch on June 6. With the development team approaching Diablo as a live service, I have no doubt additional systems will eventually be added into the mix, which is why understanding these core—
Now, the thing with that is I don't really mind that. I wish it was more complicated, but they said there's 150 dungeons. Now, if the dungeons are like the rifts, I don't know. Are they just rifts? Did they just call them dungeons now? Are you just gonna do the same thing over and over again? Like, is there actually like a progression system with the end game with these dungeons? Maybe after doing like a few dungeons, you unlock a boss. You know, what is the end game systems like? Because right now, like, this is just not look that it looks like Diablo 3, but with new art and like new characters. It really doesn't look that innovative.
Core progression systems are so important. Anyways, friends, this is
like, what if they had an atlas? Like, just copy POE, call it something else. Where every time you do a map, you like unlock stuff, and then you can either like, you get like bosses that spawn based on your atlas. You get progression with your atlas.
It's just our first foray into Diablo 4. We know you guys come to check out the channel for all sorts of games, but if Diablo is on your radar and you want more content like this, including deeper guides and eventually some fun builds, hit that like button and consider subscribing.
All right, that was a good video. I learned a lot there. I haven't really checked out Diablo 4 too much, but that kind of says a lot. I'm a little concerned, to be honest with you. I'm a little concerned. I think I'm just skeptical. I hope it's good. You know, I'm gonna play it regardless. I know it's gonna be fun, even if the game isn't that great. It's gonna be fun for like a month or so. Just because you get to play with new characters, it's a new game, new exploration. New games are always pretty fun. And I actually have a friend or two that I'm gonna play this game with. So yeah, we'll have to see. I'm gonna try to be open-minded, but right now I kind of am mixed. I have mixed feelings about what I'm seeing.